So I'm pretty sure I was terrible at posting content all Halloween season, so deeply apologize that this is also going to be late, but this is the final after the big day walkthrough. It is going to be a gorgeous 80 degrees outside today, tearing down. So for the final teardown, here we go. Naturally, it was cold AF on Halloween, and now it's beautiful. Ugh, okay. Beautiful train engine, passenger car. This went up pretty much exactly as planned, which was astounding. So a couple of different things. We got these light fixtures from the Ark, where Dan also found this. It's actually a vinyl flooring. And then the burlap came from my friend Emily, who is our line captain. You may have seen her in her pink hat. She got a ton of it because, as we all know, Joann's closed. And then this incredible skylight. So if you recognize this from last year, that was in our balloon tunnel. And this year, it's our skylight. This sparkle tool is from Renaissance. That was in our cave. Then we come through, reused a ramp and a new ramp. This is a wall that we've built and reused in a myriad of capacities. Did a cute little back end here. We got all these bales of hay from a parking lot, actually. There was a big, they do an apple cider festival, and so they just had them for free, so we went and took them. Now I gotta figure out how to get rid of them. Barn facade. Same wobble bridge as last year, but repainted to match the barn, and we added some handles just based on some feedback from last year. So we had a cute little ring toss game. This skull is so cool. It came from our friend Matt. And then the rings, as you can see, are literally just pecks. So we had two teams, red and blue, so people could play that while they were waiting. The wanted posters I did on Canva. This is actually Cameron took a picture in the backyard, added it to the wanted posters. All right. Fence panels per usual. You come around the corner. This is the gold mine. So this is what we always have an interesting time creating every year, is what we're going to do with this little bit of the north side of the house. So Bradderday Gold Mine, Bradderday Plumbing is Dan's plumbing company. And here we go. So this ended up being honestly way cooler than I would have expected. This is all double unistrut. Dan filmed a whole separate video that I'll post about how he put this all together. But it's a teeter-totter system, which was actually my mom's idea. So clever. And there's a rubber mat on the bottom and bumpers here. So when he releases the button, you know what? I will cut that in right here. See what I mean? Wasn't that so cool? So you can see we did lots with framing on the outside to make it feel like a gold mine. I actually did do a little strip of gold. So when you were here hitting the TNT, if you looked over and noticed it, there's gold in them there hills. This is a dummy prop. The rope goes to nowhere, but it allowed the kids to do something that made it feel like they were resetting that whole prop. So there was a button to a winch that would hook up and re-pull it back up, but the kids would be cranking. And this is all just, for the most part, tarps and plastic. Took some ideas from some other people who've done some rock. So we did some spray texture and some paint, which you can see in the light, in the dim. It looked awesome. And then this is a stone archway that we carved out for Renaissance that we repurposed on the inside and the outside of the cave. Just give you one more shot of that. So cute. And then this was just a cute little porch situation. So a lot of people sat and took pictures on it, and then we threw the skelly in here because they were on sale. So, and then this is like piece de resistance, right? The gunslinger's shack, which ended up being kind of like a mansion. We worked with Jason from Code Makes It Go, which I talked about in my other videos. He came out here like 3 different times to work with Dan. So if you see them going, can you see them in this light? There you go. All the targets are going, and then when you hit them, they turn rainbow and they do different things. So we have a whole separate video on that too. And then of course, because Dan is a plumber, we had a functioning toilet. So the toilet would flush from the outhouse and then it would drop into the tub. And we've recycled the water for the last 2 weeks, which is why it kind of actually hilariously looks like poop water. There's the guys already tearing down. Bit on the facade, fence panels per usual. Witch hut you might remember from before. And we actually did a second story on the facade, which was very cool, which lent to over there. I'll show you that in a minute.
What are we asking for?
Per usual, we had candy room going out the window.
Or just separate? Oh, the big light thing? Yeah.
As promised, we're breaking down.
Leave them all on there and leave them separate.
This is where our snake oil salesman sat. Dr. Monroe's Melody Miracles. So we always try to incorporate a booth. Really, it's a good filler space. But this is particularly cool because these are the negatives of all the things that Dan cut out on the CNC. So the front little fleur-de-lis that you see on the passenger car are in the back. And then the sides are actually the cutouts from the rings that he used in order to make the train body and the water tower. Now this connected to the jail, which did have a door. This guy opens and closes. This is all just painted PVC. And then we had our bandit get the ability to sneak out, so these bars pull out and pop back in, which was added as a necessary feature because initially he was just breaking out through the door. But the kids that came through were literally such narcs that they would like hold him in jail. So he had to have a secondary way to break out. Oh, they're running into each other. Then up top, that is the final of the water tower. In the drone footage that we got, we did a brown tarp on the bottom and a blue tarp on the top. So from the drone, it looks like it's full of water. But this actually never held water. So it pumped all the way down. They built this trough system. This is a wagon wheel that my dad welded together to work as a water wheel. And the troughs dump all the way here into the train. And then underneath the train was the reservoir of water. And of course, because it was the last day, we had to have a little fun and throw some bubbles in there, which is why it looks absolutely ridiculous at this moment. But that's how the water went in and recycled. So it just had one big pump, takes it all the way up to the top, and then shoots it back down. And we recycled it for, again, about 2 weeks. And then this is honestly just very, very cool. So same premise. Dan cut the pieces out on the CNC that made the rings on the inside. And then these are just fence pickets that we painted black. This is all siding. And of course, 2x4s. These we got spindles actually from a client that was demoing that let me have all of them, which is great. They're so Western. And then underneath here, check this out. So these are the pieces that were cut on the CNC and then pieced together. And then you can obviously see their pickets from the inside. That's our boiler from steampunk year, which was, I intended to be like lit up, and we talked about maybe having coal drop out of it like it did at steampunk. And it just wasn't, there was so much else to do that it didn't get done. And I don't know that it was necessary. But the pipe coming through with the clear was so cool because the kids could come in and actually watch the water come through. Just so cool. This ended up being just amazing. Absolutely so amazing. And in case you're wondering, the black that we used is called Limousine Leather Black. And from here, you can see out the front. Cute little window situation. And then the stairs were intended to be kind of wonky, which is why he did the railing in Galvy. And then from here, out you go. So this was actually, I mean, it ended up being such a cool year. We had the street closed. Over on this side, Royal Crest Dairy showed up. He was driving by and was like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "We do this big Halloween thing." Look at the neighbors decorated. Our neighbor on the end, actually, she's been decorating for longer than we have, but super upped her game this year. She was open the weekend before Halloween also, which was just so rad. Oh my gosh, look how pretty the sky is right now. So there you go. That's everything. Tomorrow it'll be gone. Oh, how can I fail to talk about this? We have a friend who's an airplane mechanic who made that. Isn't that incredible? All of the rivets are perfectly symmetrical. Pretty, 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 pretty. Okay, that's it. We'll see you next season.